How's everybody doing today? Good?
Good.
Enjoying this lovely day? It's a little warm out there. Hopefully you can keep cool and not pass out. So we're lucky today to have some of the biggest stars on YouTube, Dude Perfect, and Stephen from TBWA to talk to us about how brands and creators can work together to create innovative and cutting-edge campaigns. So Dude Perfect, 5 best friends and a panda from Dallas, Texas, listed by Advertising Age as one of YouTube's hottest brands. Dude Perfect has used their videos to reach and inspire millions with a contagious go big philosophy. With a mix of trick shots, comedy, and competition content, Dude Perfect became the first independent sports creator on YouTube to hit 5 million subscribers on their channel. Let's take a look. I think we have a video.
What's up, guys? We're Dude Perfect.
And welcome to Dad Edition.
Dude Perfect.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You get a rumble in the air. Yeah. Made it through the fire, we here. Yeah. We ain't really got nothing.
I went up.
Yeah. I ain't giving up until I'm on. 100 miles and running like I'm on.
This is the father-son skeet smasher.
Nothing you could do to make me back. Yeah. So don't try. Now hands high. If you believe that you can touch the sky, I wanna see if you can touch the sky. Now is the time for you to come alive, let it go. Take a stand and let them know that you ain't holding back no more. Out of control, don't know how to act no more.
This beard might be better than mine.
Bring them back for more. It's time to get the people what they asking for.
Mr. Boyd is dead, making trick shots. Hey guys, thanks for watching. And special thanks to our friends at Nissan for reminding us everything's more exciting with Dad. Peace out.
All right. And we're also joined here today by Stephen Butler, Chief Creative Officer at TBWA Chiat Day. And Stephen was Executive Creative Director and Partner at Mother London prior to being at TBWA Chiat Day. And I think there's another video, right, that we can play, I think? All right, let's see what that one is.
Just the other day, we came to the world in the usual way, but there were planes to catch and bills to pay. He learned to walk while I was away, and he was talking for I knew it, and as he grew, he'd say, I'm gonna be like you, Dad, you know I'm gonna be like you. And the cats in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy, living man. When you come home, Daddy don't know when we'll get together then. You know we'll have a good time then. My son turned 10 the other day. He said, thanks for the ball, Dad, come on, let's play. Can you teach me to throw? I said, not today, I got a lot to do. He said, that's okay. And then he walked away like he said. The devil said, I'm gonna be like him. Yeah, you know I'm gonna be like him.
I bet you're like, you're so sick of all the YouTube views. I can handle this song. So good. So good. I was like crying when I saw it the first time. Oh my God. That's what it's meant to do.
All right. Great. So before we start talking about this amazing campaign that you guys have collaborated on, the Dude Perfect guys, tell us a little bit about your backstory. Like, how did you guys get started? How long ago? And how quickly did it progress for you?
Yeah, I mean, early on we started just being college roommates at Texas A&M and in the Texas area, obviously. And we got bored one day, bought a basketball goal, and just started kind of shooting trick shots in our backyard. Cory grabbed this little small camera, put it on the video mode, and we filmed it and put it up on YouTube. And it was kind of the first time that anyone had seen a basketball shot made outside of a gym, and so it caught on quickly. Good Morning America called us, and as it turned out, like kids and their dads enjoyed watching it, and so we just kept making more, innovative content, and then sure enough, brands started contacting us, and we would kind of make these customized viral videos for each brand, and here we are 6 years later, kicking it in the French Riviera.
So it was that
we've peaked. This is it.
That's it. Yeah, it's all downhill. It's all downhill. So, but it was that quick, really. Like your first couple of videos went
2
out?
days after we loaded our very first video, we had 100,000, 200,000 views.
Still don't know why, but
yeah,
that is the case. I don't know.
So
of all the shots that you've done, like, is there one or two that stand out as the ones you're most excited about being able to do, or?
We got to do one as part of a promotional campaign. The guys give me a hard time. I clear my throat all the time anyway. So this
I
is
don't know what it is. Blow your nose, clear your throat.
Yeah, what are you going to do? We got to do one actually with Google recently where we used 2 cranes and pulled the basketball back with a golf cart almost with a slingshot. And it was a tough one, but it was really fun. That's probably one of my favorites.
That was insane.
And what would you say your fan base is, just to help people understand who's your audience and who's watching your videos?
We have a lot of mix, I'd say, between kids and adults, which is really fun for us. We get to see, like, personally, when people come up to us on the street, it's often kids, but then it's often a dad or a mom coming up and saying that one of their favorite things to do on a Monday when we usually release our videos is, they wait for dad to get home or they wait for mom to get home and all the kids to get home so they can watch at 5 o'clock, live at 5 every time our video comes out. So it's a lot of families watching videos together, which is exciting for us because, at the end of the day, it's really cool to be able to think that there's families watching our content together. So that's a lot of fun for us.
It's kind of funny, too, because I felt like after we hit 1 million subscribers a couple years ago, like, we kind of looked at the demos and we were like, God, it's just a bunch of kids. And so we were kind of bummed out because we thought we were cooler than that, like adults and stuff. And turns out like all these brands want the millennials. And so we kind of fell into this new market that was heavily craved. And we're like, awesome, we'll take it. So it's been fun to kind of just kind of jump in that and kind of experience it day by day as we've been kicking it.
That's great. So Stephen, tell us, this campaign, Super Bowl campaign, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty innovative. Can you tell us kind of how that came about and maybe let people, give them an overview?
Yeah, tell us about the tearjerker, Stephen.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, well, again, I think, it was the first time Nissan had been back in the Super Bowl for about 25 years. Nissan as a brand is kind of a sort of distant third to the other big Japanese brands within America, which is Honda and Toyota. And I think weirdly, an American kind of perception of Honda and Toyota is they don't really think of them as a kind of Japanese brand. I think they feel like it's ingrained in kind of American culture now for good or bad reasons. And I think Nissan felt like it had a hole that it needed to fill. And I think Fred Diaz, who's the kind of CMO of North America, really wanted us to make a film that made a connection with American people. And we really alighted on kind of family values, which again is not exactly rocket science in America. I'm not American, but I know how to make them cry. You can make them cry quick. And I'm pretty good at doing that. And so for us, this idea of having the access into that, but again, we didn't want to do something generic. We also started to understand the rules of Super Bowl. They've changed dramatically. I think you have to go back to when VW did Darth Vader. I think they were the first who kind of leaked something early. And that's just changed the landscape where almost the night is irrelevant, which is kind of exciting and a little depressing. I mean, it's expanded the experience over a sort of almost a 2-week period, a week before, 10 days before, and then another week after with YouTube. So for us, we had to build something big and dramatic, and we alighted on the dad-children relationship. Moms have been getting a lot of good shout-outs, and dads are always seen as a kind of second-class citizen within the family. I'm one of those, and I definitely know that feeling. So that was really where we started, but where these guys came in was really about how we build out that kind of seeding. We knew we didn't want to release the film early. Most brands do that and work up a lot of their viewership pre, but we really wanted to drop it on the night. But with the help of these guys and a couple of other creators, we really wanted to kind of build something that added to the narrative. Didn't feel like it exploited these guys in any way. I think that's a major difference now as we've moved as an industry away from using celebrity, which no disrespect to celebrities, but you could buy them, and they'd pretty much do anything. And especially, I remember working in Europe, they'd do anything outside of America. But I think these guys have a much more intimate relationship with their audience, and so to work with YouTube creators, you have to think in a completely different way.
So, yeah, is that why we think it works? You think it's because of the intimacy you have with your audience? Is it authenticity? What are some of the things that you think kind of make these kind of partnerships work?
I think because early on we started integrating brands into the videos, and when we did like a very sellout style, there was a lot of pushback, and we saw that, and so we realized, okay, we can't go that route where it just feels like a commercial the whole time for what we do in YouTube. And so we slowly started incorporating the brands more organically, and I think our audience saw the authenticity of that. We saw comments saying like, gosh, just so you know, like if they do a brand deal, they have more money to make a cooler video, so like we should love it. So like they kind of all jumped on that bandwagon of like, bring the bigger and cooler brands like into the videos, because then your videos will be more engaging and have more,
Like
you
using
know,
2 cranes.
exactly.
Yeah,
Cranes
scale.
were involved. Absolutely.
The only downside to this one has been our dads have gotten a really big head from being a part of it.
It's kind of a disaster, actually.
I think it got
crazy.
like 5 million views in 1 week, and they're like, so when are we doing like
Sequel,
Dad Edition
sequel.
2? We're like, God, calm down. You guys,
Yeah.
you're washed up.
Our moms are next. Yeah.
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 So yeah, I'd love to. So tell us a little bit about the process of working together, and I'd love to hear it kind of from both sides. Like, how is it for the dudes to work with a major brand, and then Stephen, how did your teams feel, in working with some YouTube creators?
Nissan was awesome for us to work with. They were, I think, one of, if not the top brand in terms of being really flexible and letting us kind of take lead on, a lot of the creative. We found that super important. Sometimes we'll work with a brand and they'll try and push us into a box. And like Cody said, if it feels too in your face and too overly, branded, kids pick up on that. And this is the world that they've grown up in. And adults obviously do too. And it felt so natural for us to do a video with our dads that the With Dad campaign was organic. I mean, it was super natural for sure.
No, and I think a lot of our hard work came in selecting. We watched hundreds and hundreds of, there's a burgeoning kind of group of creators now. But again, we felt like it needed to feel something that was so aligned with us that we could have the confidence to just give these guys literally the kind of With Dad notion. And when we came, some of our guys in the office had already been following these guys for a long time. And again, for me, I was just interested of a bunch of sport nerds, and I was like, fuck, what were their dads like? Like, they've got to have as much talent, if not they're the source of the talent.
They do.
So I think for us, it was about keeping it organic, keeping it that these guys had a lot of control. And again, understanding that intimacy of their audience. I think at the time they had about 5 million, strong as an audience. What I'm very proud of is we never tried to do anything that if it wasn't for the idea, we'd create something unique. And I think, our whole ambition, I think we had about 6 or 7 creators we worked with on the campaign. Our whole ambition was, I think, to get 5 million views. And I think in the end, we got 45 million. And these guys alone pulled in 6.5. And what I loved is that we went beyond your audience.
Yep.
And so it built for them as well. So I think you've got to find this kind of mutual place, which is not about a transaction, but really is about the idea, delivering something that wouldn't have existed if we hadn't, met.
Got it. And was the whole process completely smooth? If you were giving advice to some folks, but is there anything you would advise people to like think about in advance and what to watch out for to make sure things kind of stay smooth and great?
Yeah, it was hard to get our dad's schedules to match up.
Yeah, that was hard. But
it was smooth, honestly.
It
I mean,
was.
it sounds like a lie, but it was really a smooth process.
don't film in Texas in December, because we were like, it was 30 degrees, really windy. And so one of the shots was taking a while, my dad obviously. And we were like his hands were like freezing to the golf club. So I would just recommend like filming in a more neutral climate of sunny and beach
like
weather.
the French Riviera.
Yeah.
What I loved about that bit of your dad golfing is that once he got it right, you still chastised him for the lack of celebration.
Absolutely.
He was like so like there, and you were like
No.
chest
He
pumping.
didn't care enough.
No, and I think for us, what made it so smooth, and again, the thing you have to always be thinking about going into these things is it's like creating anything. It's not a science. Yeah. And so, we had sort of 7 creators we were working with. They all had a different talent. We knew that some would respond better than others, and I think, so for us, it felt effortless. Some came in stronger than others. These guys pretty much nailed it. But at the end of the day, for us, there were definitely no hiccups.
So is this something that you do again? Is it something that Nissan will do again, TBWA will do again? And
Absolutely. Well, I think it's the future.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, as I say, what I love, and again, no disrespect to how we've operated with a notion of celebrity and what I call an emotional set of followers who will forgive them a lot of things. This is a completely different game. These guys are the creators. They are the TV channels in and of themselves. And so for us, it's a similar model we've always done, engaging with media outlets. It's just what's great now is the channel and the talent are the same thing. So for us, it changes our role a little bit, but again, you know, part of what I think is going to be the fundamental shift of this industry from a creative perspective is realigning creatives in the business about what success looks like, what authorship looks like, what collaboration looks like, what your book will look like. Because I think there is just such a more collaborative notion, and I think what's still to this day the best thing about YouTube is it's brought out and democratized creativity. And I think as an industry, we've had to come to terms with that. I think we've gone through the initial crisis of the early noughties of like, oh fuck, there are a lot of people that can do this shit better than we can. And I very much noticed the collapse in the creative floor of like, oh dear. But now that we've all got up to speed and realized we can have a lot of fun and we can offer them scale, you know, and I think we're reaching a great balance. And I think there's a better understanding than ever, and it's definitely a more creative process and it's more fun.
It's true.
All right, so dudes, and I think we'll go to questions from the audience in a second. So there's a lot of, you know, brands and creative folks in the audience. What is the trick that you want to do? That you
Oh wow, the goals list. Yeah.
The $1 million question.
What do you got?
It's $1 million first, that's the first thing.
Well, let me be perfectly clear when I suggest this idea that I'm not the one who wants to actually make it happen myself, but we have always wanted to get shot out of a cannon and do a shot midair. Tyler in our group says he'd like to do it over some helicopters with some fire, and I think he's still undecided if he wants to dunk it or do the shot while he's in the middle of the air. But I think that's currently the dream shot, and I'm more than happy to let Tyler be the one to take it.
Red Bull. Yeah, no kidding.
All right, great. So yeah, any questions from the audience?
Actually, it's two questions. How much time does it take to get one of those shots on camera? Because I thought some of them were fake, but now I think it's all real. And the second one is like my favorite video is the bubble wrap, and I was wondering how this brand got to you guys.
Thanks.
Yeah, the shots average. I mean, the world record ones when we're shooting out of a Goodyear blimp or a plane or a building, they take a little longer, like sometimes an hour to 3 hours. But we film every video within 2 days, so it's kind of pretty quick, like 15 minutes. It just depends on whether we're doing ping pong balls into a Pringles can or if we're throwing footballs into a car. Like, it just depends on each style. And then, I mean, the brands have been traditionally just coming to us. We have a great partner, The Whistle Sports, up in New York, and so YouTube and them have been partnering a little bit to bring us brand deals and sift through just the different ones that are natural for us. We have to turn down a lot just based on our schedule and kind of the
If it fits.
Yeah, if it fits with our brand. And so it's been cool. I don't feel like we've ever had to like go and sell ourselves. I think the brand has been kind of self-sustaining on just people see it and want to be a part of it, and they've been coming to us, fortunately, so we've been in a good place.
Quick answer on the bubble wrap thing. We went to a bubble wrap factory and filmed this battle competition video, and at the end of the day, it was hilarious because it's a factory, so it's a really safe place, and there's all these regulations, and we go in there, and they allowed us to do all this, wrap up and bubble wrap and have a sumo battle and have a jousting battle on top of all these reams of bubble wrap, and by the end of the 2-day shoot, you could tell all the employees were like, what is happening? And this guy standing beside me, he goes, dude, I have never in my entire life even stood up on a little bale of bubble wrap. And
they're not allowed to like pop the bubbles,
50 feet up.
So
if bubble wrap goes down, it's because their factory is lost.
It was pretty. We started out in like hard hats and gloves and like staying in between the lines, and by the end we were like
riding scooters. They were losing their minds.
Yeah.
As for the number of shots, the other thing I've been telling people recently, it's like a fishing show. You don't want to watch the guy cast out 100 times. You just want to see him bring in the big fish.
You do.
So that's it's a little bit how we do it.
It's a good analogy, Coby.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Unneeded, but I liked it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Love to fish,
All right. Anybody else? So what's next for TBWA in this space? What are you thinking?
Whoa, we've got a lot on the go at the moment. Again, I think it's, you want to stay ahead of it all the time. And again, what's fun is now just seeing how much is out there and trying to curate and trying to think about, and again, not trying to think too hard, weirdly. Again, I think if you go out looking for these guys or girls and then try to kind of retrofit something into them, I think it feels very unorganic, and I think you'll fuck it up. I think what we do is we, again, wait for the ideas to come, see where they are, where they're living within what brands we've got, and then I think we think about what's the appropriate thing, and then we start looking around for the credible partners. So it's not dissimilar from how we've operated as an industry always. Make sure we're still have the ideas and don't just become a series of curators or middlemen who are kind of connecting. And then from there, really kind of, go through and find out who are the right people. But you are going to be seeing more of this. And then obviously we're going Super Bowl again in different ways and with different clients next year. So keep an eye on that, and we'll see what we do.
All right, great. Can't wait to see that. Yeah, and I think from the, the YouTube perspective, we love seeing these types of collaborations when great brands and great agencies can get together with emerging creators and make something really special happen. So please, please.
I just have a question for Stephen. Unfortunately, this is work. So as creators like Dude Perfect and other big, YouTube stars and social influencers, get to this level of stardom where they've kind of surpassed the relevance of A-list celebrities. Do you see in the future opportunities with some of the brands you work with to align with certain creators more consistently, more almost like a brand ambassador, similar to an athlete or talent endorsement like deal?
Yeah, I think developing long-term relationships is definitely a possibility. Again, what we're still learning about these guys and other like creators is just how nimble they want to be. Historically, brands have been very careful about either locking people in, but again, I think we're in a different, more fluid creative time where I think audiences want to see crossover. So again, yes, I would happily kind of engage ideas of the right brand partners in a consistent way, but then you're asking a lot more of the creators. Then you're kind of going, one of the things you guys said was we were quite light, hands-on. We were like, once we find you had a great conversation, let you be inspired, there was pretty much, we didn't put you in a box. And I think once you start locking in on a long-term sort of continuous relationship, I suppose then the question and the anxiety comes across how much of that fluidity is there, or is there a kind of, we got to do 10 things a year and does it become a little bit of a kind of grind? But it's still such a nascent kind of experience now, and I think, no disrespect to these boys, but there's so many great ones out there, and they're all doing different things. And I think even the way I found the YouTube creators relate to each other, they're turned on by each other. I mean, we're finding this in business. We're dealing with CEOs who are anywhere from 24 years old these days to 32 years of age, and they're out dining every single night with each other. They don't see each other as competition. So I think this idea of exclusivity, I think that's something that maybe is going to disappear as well. I think there's going to be an idea where brands will, I love seeing, the bubble wrap thing. I love what bubble wrap brings to Nissan. I love what these other brands bring. And I think brands starting to understand that other brands are no longer this notion of competition, but really partners. Yeah. And that the idea that someone who drives a Nissan probably uses bubble wrap, I suspect.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So for me, it's more about behavior and about understanding how these things are kind of located. That actually, I think the idea of exclusivity is I think I'm coming now to an aggressive answer. No, we're never going to partner, long-term partner. I just needed to walk that one round. Thank you for that.
All right, so please join me in thanking Stephen and the Dude Perfect guys for joining us here today.
Thank you.